Hi, in this tutorial, we will learn how to create a new pivot table. So we are having this data, and then what we have to do is we have to go to insert and then go to pivot table. Here it is asking for the data that you want to analyze. So suppose you want to analyze all these columns. So then just select all of these. So either you can select the entire column, or you can just select a particular range, but usually, to be on the safer side, select the entire column, so that whensoever you would add new rows in the table, that will also be factored in, and you can just refresh the pivot table, and all of that data will be considered for the pivot table. Or else you would keep on selecting the range of the data. So once you have selected the columns or the table range, then do you want that pivot table to be in the same worksheet, or do you want to create a new worksheet? So if you want to, let's say, create a new worksheet, then you can just click on select that and then click on OK. So then a new worksheet will open, where you will see the option of creating the pivot table. So here you can see pivot table fields. So here you are seeing all the field names. So how do you want to summarize your data? So pivot table is all about summarizing the data. So let's say you want to summarize it by segment. So for each of the segments, what was the total gross sales? So we will be able to get that data. So here select segment and then gross sales. The segment should be here because we want to list it down, all the various segments that we had. So we had channel partners, and the sum of gross sales was this, and likewise for other segments. You can make it neater by introducing comma as well and removing the extra zeros. So it looks like this. You can further break this down by country, for example. So this segment here is channel partners, and then we have Canada, France, Germany, Mexico, and the total for the segment is about 1.9 million. Likewise for enterprise, and then all these are the countries. Then the segment is government, and all of these are the countries. Or if you want to remove this segment and you just want the data country wise, so yeah, it is also possible. To make it more visually appealing and to add the heat map, you can just go to conditional formatting and go to color scales and choose this one, which would be um, green would be the highest, and red would be the lowest, and yellow for the middle values. So here we can see it easily that USA is leading. And if you want to also get the number of units sold, then you can just drag that to values and you will get that data as well. And again here you can go to color scales and select that, so you would know that okay, Canada uh, got the maximum units sold. So these are pretty interesting insights that you can get from the pivot table. Manually, if you would have added all of these, it would have taken you a lot of time. So this is much easier way. And in case, let's say, you remove some data, then if you will go to pivot table analyze, here you will just refresh it, so that data point has been updated. if you will do undo and you got the data back. So now again go to pivot table analyze, refresh this. So basically pivot table does that. So that helps a lot, right? So whenever there is a change, always refresh the pivot table, so that so then it refreshes the data points for each of the rows and values basically. So yeah, this is a very powerful tool. And also we are seeing here sum. So in case you want to calculate average, you can go to gross sales and then pull it down, and then right click here, go to field settings, there you will see average, and click on OK. So then you would get the average as well. So average amount of sales. So if you go to again home, conditional formatting, color scales, then you would know that average ticket size was highest for the USA. So likewise you have a lot more options here. If you will want to get the maximum value, minimum value, counts, all of that is possible over here with pivot table. And you can also structurise this data differently, let's say by having the segment on the top. So then here we have Canada, France, Germany, USA, and on top, which is the columns, we have got the various segments. We have got various segments. So for enterprise, what was the gross sales, what was the unit sold, and what was the average of gross sales. Likewise for all other segments, you're getting all of that data. So it is basically up to you how you want to present that data, but pivot table allows you to structurize your data in very different ways. So you can play around with these columns and rows, how best it would fit, how best you can present this, and how best it would be meaningful for your stakeholders for whom you are preparing this kind of pivot table. So if you're analyzing something, then by arranging the data in different manners, you would get more insights, and it would be easier as well when you are deriving those insights using the data that you have in your pivot table. So pivot table is highly beneficial, and just makes your work very easy when you are analyzing the data. And with heat map, you further improve your productivity, because everything is visual, because everything, you are just seeing the heat map. You can identify that okay, greens ones are the largest values, so you can take those insights very easily, or else you would have to just keep on matching the columns, which would take a lot of time at times. So when you have a huge number of rows or columns or cells even, then having the heat map makes things very easy for you. And one last thing about pivot table is that suppose you want to add a filter, how to do that? So let's say we have this data and we just want it for a particular segment. So either you get that segment over here in rows or in columns, but you're getting all of those segments. So what if you just want a particular one? How will you do that? For that you can just move or pull the segment towards the filter. So here then you will see a filter called segment, and here you will see all the possible values. So let's say we just want these values to be for enterprise segment. So now we are just getting it for enterprise segment. Suppose you want to get that for just government, then just select the filter value, and we are just getting this data for government segment. So like this, you can filter your data for any particular financial year, for any particular geography, depending on the various fields that you have, you will be able to filter your data. So this would help you a lot when you just want particular data from your pivot table. So hoping this video is helpful for you, and if you have any queries regarding the pivot table, then please do leave a comment. And if you like this tutorial, then please like the video and subscribe us. It helps us a lot.
Thanks so much for watching this tutorial. If you liked it, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you didn't, then leave a comment so that we can improve it further. Do watch these suggested tutorials to learn even more, and do let us know what you want to learn on Being Skilled.